Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Welcome, foolish mortals.
Amigos down there. It is me up here.
Howdy, folks. Please keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the train and remain seated at all times.
If smaller aviators don't measure up to the height indicator on the seat, just put the belt through the loop in the center strap before buckling. That's where it fell.
We know what our goals are. We know what we hope to accomplish. And believe me, it's the most exciting and challenging assignment we've ever tackled at Walt Disney Productions.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dislife Podcast. Thank you for being a part of our Disney lives here on the Chip and Company Podcast Network. My name is Mark Valentine, and I am the host of Dislife Podcast. Join us weekly as we discuss the very best of Disney parks, resorts, dining, and beyond. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button to access more incredible audio content from the Chip and Company Podcast Network. Head over to chipandco.com for the latest headlines from across the Disney parks from around the world. And don't forget, give our show a rating or a review on Apple, Spotify, or even Podchaser. On today's Dislife Podcast, we embark on a magical journey through the enchanting world of Disney and Pixar animated films. In today's episode, we find ourselves once again at the heart of an epic tournament, a thrilling showdown, if you will, where the beloved classics of Disney animation and the innovative creators of Pixar Studios collide in a quest to determine the greatest Disney film of all time. Now, this is the second part of our four-part series, and we're about to dive into the heart of Disney Renaissance, a period of unparalleled creativity and excellence, and the inception of Pixar's groundbreaking storytelling. So join us as we explore the captivating narratives, the unforgettable characters, and the timeless tales that have shaped the dreams and imaginations of generations. From the hand-drawn masterpieces of Disney's Renaissance to the groundbreaking computer-animated wonders of Pixar, we're going to journey once again through the unforgettable stories that have left a mark on all of our hearts. But here's a man who's left a mark on my heart, and that would be Mr. Brian Lee. Brian, how you doing, dude? How was your week?
That was poetic. Did you write that yourself?
I did. I did. I don't.
Be a writer.
Well, I don't have. Yeah, I do that part time. I don't have much to write this episode. So normally, man, top to bottom, it's got to be scripted. So because I only had to script out 2 paragraphs, I put a little bit more oomph into it. So to speak.
I understood the definition of 90% of what you said.
Yeah. So how's the week been?
Man, work is crazy, which is why we didn't have a United We fan this past week. So that's why we're making up for it.
I know.
Right.
I was jonesing. Speaking of which, we need to bring in your better half on United We Fan, the podcast. The man who shares a name that I would say is probably my favorite in the world, and that would be Mark Adams. Marky Mark, how are you? Welcome. How many times have you watched Werewolf by Night in color?
First off, I have to love your use of the word Mark. As a fellow Mark, I was very proud of you. Second off, that monologue was beautiful. I wish some Tonight Show hosts would learn from you. And also, it could be an audition material type monologue. It was just full of energy, and I'm like motivated. Like it was a Braveheart moment. So thank you.
I'm going to throw that into I have a list of monologues that I dust off from time to time whenever I had to do auditions. So I'll slot that in.
There you go.
I'll slot that in.
Werewolf by Night, love it. Black and white, love it. In color, love it. Is in my top 5 of Marvel, love it. Yes. So please check it out on Disney Plus and Hulu.
And don't forget, before we even get into it, make sure you're checking these guys out on the Chip and Company Podcast Network every single week. We pass it over to them on Saturday and Sunday as they break down everything from the entertainment world, Marvel, Star Wars, Barbie, Oppenheimer, you name it. Broadway. Brian's even gotten into the Broadway kick. If it's a fandom, they cover it. And again, that's United We Fan, the podcast.
Does seeing one show count as getting into the Broadway kick?
It really does. Because you know why? you've also now considered other shows because of your positive experience. So yes, welcome.
You've seen musical and plays, Brian. Yeah.
So welcome to the party.
Aladdin, Book of Mormon, and Harry Potter and the Cursed Child.
That's enough.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Yeah.
You're in.
That's how it starts.
I would go see Back to the Future.
Yes.
So listen, man, you're in the club. You know, here's the thing. It does not take much to join. You know, have you seen a musical? Yes. Welcome to the club. You are in the Broadway Lovers Club. We'll have you if you want to be a part. We will welcome you with open arms. And I speak for both Marks. So
I'm going to get you to see Spamalot next season.
Oh, yes. Let's do that. Let's all do that together.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, guys, it's time to grab your popcorn. Let's settle in. And the audience, prepare to be transported once again to the magic of Disney. This is where Disney and Pixar are going to reign supreme. Now, last time, if you weren't paying attention, Winnie the Pooh took the first part of the bracket, and we made a executive decision to divide it up and to not shortchange the Disney Renaissance. So instead of having it be 2 parts, we turned this into a 4-part series. But it also gives me a chance to have Marky Mark on the show as much as I can. But this is the way that it ran last time. We have 3 men. Each one of us get to cast a vote. I try to put myself in the tiebreaker as much as I can because I want to defer to these 2 gentlemen because they have impeccable taste. So they're going to determine which film, according to United We Fans, should move forward in the tournament. If they are a house divided, then I will help settle that score. But we left off right on the precipice of a time that I think this is going to be interesting because this is the stuff, let's face it, gentlemen, it resonates with all of us. We were, at some point, our entry to Disney was here in this Renaissance period, or even that early Pixar stuff. This is our era, you know, the Snow White, the 70s, the 60s, the Jungle Books. Yeah, we watched it, but that was our parents and let's face it, our grandparents' Disney. This is our Disney. So it's going to get interesting. Let's see who reigns supreme. So in the first round, the Little Mermaid, the animated Little Mermaid, is going to get a bye. So we are going to start with the first round. Fantasia had a really good showing in the eras, the Origins era. So we are going to dust off Fantasia, and we're going to talk about Fantasia 2000 from the year 2000. And it's going to go up against Toy Story 2.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Yeah, Toy Story 2 from 1999. Let's kick it off with the man who was enjoying a pizza a minute ago, making me jealous. Brian Lee, you get to go first. And again, the way that it works for the audience out there, we're going to try to move as quickly as we can. But if we feel that one of these films is jeopardized, we're certainly welcome to debate and to sort of soapbox if we feel that it's going to go the wrong way. I did that a few times. It didn't work out for me. But Brian, you're up first, man. So round 1, Fantasia 2000 versus Toy Story 2. Your vote.
Toy Story 2. It's not even close.
Marky Mark. He was fast.
I know. The other T2 for the win.
Yeah, this is going to be a clean sweep. I'm going to tell you this. I don't think I've watched Fantasia 2000 more than maybe once or twice in my entire life.
I don't think there's anything in it that hit.
No.
Whoa. It's not a trash movie. It's up against Toy Story 2.
Well, there's going to be a lot said about Toy Story 2 later on.
Okay.
Dude, I am holding everything I have for Toy Story 2 because it's going to make a run in my.
Okay. Well, it's going to have its work cut out for it because it's going to face the Little Mermaid next round. All right. So let's go to the original. Let's stay on that Toy Story. That's Toy Story thread. Toy Story 1 from 1995 is going to go against Return to Neverland. Interesting. Wow. Marky Mark, I'm going to give you the first shot here. Toy Story versus Return to Neverland. Does Return to Neverland have a shot here for you?
Cute flick, but hey, howdy, hey to Toy Story.
Okay. Brian Lee, do I get to vote?
Return to Neverland.
Wait, what?
Of course not. Are you kidding me?
I've learned I don't bite anymore when he tries to trigger me.
He got me. He got me with the okey doke. Yeah, Toy Story is going to have the clean sweep. Return to Neverland is a very cute film. I enjoyed it. It's just, in my opinion, going up against one of the best, if not the best Pixar film of all time, but to be determined. All right, this next one I'm very interested to see how this one turns out, because we're all nerds and we're comfortable in our nerddom. So as three nerds, we all have a love and affinity for Treasure Planet. So Treasure Planet is going up against Pocahontas from 1995. Can I go first here? Actually, can I not be the tiebreaker? I'm asking for permission.
Sure.
All right.
Permission granted.
All right. So
Unlocked.
I'm going to surprise a lot of people. So Colors of the Wind is beautiful. I love Vanessa Williams as a vocalist. I loved what Disney was trying to do with Pocahontas. I think there's really great elements of Pocahontas. I enjoy and watch more often than Pocahontas Treasure Planet. Some people are going to think, no, I'm fine. I'm not inebriated right now. I'm actually of sound mind and body. I think Treasure Planet there was a lot of risk taking with Treasure Planet. I like the way that they kind of went in a different direction. It's very different. In my opinion, Pocahontas in this time period was pretty generic. I think it was just trying to duplicate a lot of the things that we see in films like The Little Mermaid and Aladdin and Hercules and Mulan. And honestly, I don't think that Pocahontas connected. Now, I'm also going to cast this vote as a history major, guys. And some of the, let's call it revisionist history in Pocahontas drove me freaking insane. So Treasure Planet is going to get my protest vote. I might be alone on this campaign, but I want to thank you for your time. And my name is Mark Valentine, and I approve this message. Mark, you're up next.
This is actually easy for me. Treasure Planet for the win. Yes, Colors of the Wind is beautiful, and I love Miko. But easily Treasure Planet. And I would be okay with this getting a live action remake series on Disney Plus.
It just happened. I love you so much right now. Yes. Yep. All right. Brian, you want to vote for posterity's sake?
I have zero emotion or passion for either of these films. I think both are terribly boring.
I think you're terrible. No, you're not.
He's going to abstain. So with a vote of 2-0 to 1.
I was going to do whatever you guys needed me to do.
All right. It's going to be Treasure Planet. Yeah, Treasure Planet. And I agree with you, Mark. I would love to see this get a live action treatment. It would work. And it would be one of those films that I would not groan when I heard that there was a live action of Treasure Planet. It would be so freaking good. Speaking of which, another film I think would be a bonkers good. Atlantis, The Lost Empire from 2001. Give me Tom from Spider-Man, and I'm blanking on, right? He would just be amazing. And Zendaya in The Lost Empire in a live action remake. Okay, maybe not the Zendaya, Mark, but
either of them. Well, that's a long conversation.
Ooh, I feel like there's a podcast somewhere in there, gentlemen. Maybe we should live action cast some of these. So Atlantis 2001 going against the guy who went from zero to hero, Hercules in 1997. Brian Lee, you're up first, man.
Hercules?
Yeah.
Oh, this is, again, I don't get the hype for Atlantis whatsoever. Hercules blows this one out of the water for me.
Marky Mark, Hercules versus Atlantis.
I dislike you.
It's the Renaissance. There wasn't much place for me to. I mean, it's all good. It's literally, it's all good.
Hercules for the win, but there would be Atlantis vote for me over several other winners coming up that would surprise you from me. So, but in this matchup, Hercules.
I like it. And I'm going to add to that. I'm not going to say anything for Hercules. It's going to go up against Aladdin in the second round, and it's going to have its work cut out for it. All right. So I'm pulling a little change here. For some reason, through the magic of technology, the Rescuers Down Under wound up getting a bye, and that's not going to happen. So, yes. So the Emperor's New Groove from 2000 is going to go up against the Rescuers Down Under. We don't even need to ask Brian Lee, but I'm going to do it anyway. Brian Lee, how are you voting? And say your piece for the Emperor's New Groove, because I know how much you love it. Love it.
Now, for whatever reason, like the way Mark felt about Atlantis having to get voted against, like, I mean, nothing's going to beat The Emperor's New Groove for me, but I like The Rescuers Down Under. I'm good with it. But I'm going to save my Emperor's New Groove stuff, but you know which way I'm voting.
I do. Okay, so one for Emperor's New Groove. Marky Mark.
I'm not going to throw off Brian's groove. It's going to be The Emperor, but I will admit I did rewatch it, and the scene where Joanna, the giant Komodo dragon, is taking the hunter's eggs is hilarious still.
And she almost ate Cinderella's mice in Once Upon a Studio.
So here's the only thing that I could say about The Emperor's New Groove in this round, gentlemen. It would be squeak, squeaker, squeak, squeak, squeak. And you know exactly what that vote means. So 3-0, Emperor's New Groove is going to move on to the next round, and it will face Mulan from 1998. All right. Moving. I know. Look, it's the Renaissance.
This podcast, I'm glad we broke it up into two parts because this one's going to take like 4.5 hours.
This one's going to sting. All right. So we've got Dinosaur from 2000 going up against A Bug's Life. The much maligned Bug's Life from 1998. Marky Mark, you're up first this time around. I have no emotion of it. You want to talk about, just tell me what I need to do, gentlemen. This is my round where I'm going to channel my inner Brian Lee. I have no emotion about either one of them. Just let me know what you
don't like Bug's Life?
I don't. I don't like.
Oh,
I didn't know. I've got no emotion.
Bug's Life for the win for me. I brought this up. I missed when they used to do bloopers, and I remember the bloopers for Bug's Life.
Ooh, yeah, I forgot that.
Dinosaur. Younger me enjoyed it. I also enjoyed it more when I saw it as The Land Before Time. But Bug's Life for the win.
Very fair. And I forgot about the bloopers. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, you're up.
I enjoyed Dinosaur more when I saw it as Dinosaur and not as the good dinosaur. Does that count? What am I voting against? Oh, A Bug's Life. Yes, that's what I'm voting for.
Okay, A Bug's Life is going to win. I think I've watched Dinosaur once. I never really revisited it. It was okay. Bug's Life
the music's good.
The music is good. But A Bug's Life it's just a better movie. Bug's Life's going to go against Beauty and the Beast, which had a bye for the first round. All right.
Does anybody want to talk about Ants versus Bug's Life, that time in animated movie history? Anybody want to talk about that?
I'll take A Bug's Life over Ants. But that was that was when, was it DreamWorks, right? Yeah, they were.
Insert clip of Michael Scott talking about Ants versus Bug's Life.
Yes.
All right, gentlemen, I'm going to apologize in advance because in this round, we've got The Hunchback of Notre Dame from 1996 going against Monsters, Inc. from 2001. I apologize. Everyone.
When does the Renaissance end? Like, what's the latest film in this time frame?
So our last film is probably 2001. So that's probably it. Monsters, Inc. is probably the end. Yeah. Or no, Lilo and Stitch is our.
That was 2002.
2002.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's when we turn a corner, really. So let's do this. Hunchback of Notre Dame, Monsters, Inc. Brian Lee, you're up first.
I will give my vote away until I have to give it because I feel like there's a passion for one of these films or both of these films, but I know which way I'm going, but I'm going to save it.
Okay. Marky Mark.
Hunchback, Notre Dame, great soundtrack. Disney took a big swing. I wouldn't be mad if they announced a live action remake of this one. I'm mad at you for this matchup because I just think Monsters, Inc. is a better movie, but I am very upset at this matchup. But Monsters, Inc. for the better movie win.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna make this easy for Brian Lee.
My vote was Monsters, Inc. I have no passion for Hunchback of Notre Dame, which is why I wanted to hear what you guys had.
No, but Mark and I are pretty much on the same page with this. The Hunchback of Notre Dame was a huge swing for Disney. Here's the only problem and here's the reason I can't vote for it, Marky Mark. Some of the content of Hunchback is a little problematic. And like you see this with the Broadway discussion right now, and they're trying to even bring this back. And it's like, what do you do with Hellfire?
Yep.
There's some real...
That's pretty straightforward. It's pretty straightforward.
I mean, and that's not me making that up. Like, that's Alan Menken saying...
I know.
This movie is a little problematic given the changes that have happened in the world since 1996. And I get it. It's a period piece, and it's, But even the source material, obviously they Disney-fied the ending. Yes.
But I think it's a great... Yes, I know I said I would be okay with a live-action remake, but you're right. They'd have to figure out a lot. I definitely hope we get the stage version here, but I agree with you. American audiences need some things figured out.
This was that period you want to talk about, like Disney taking some risks, but they kind of went to history and they said, all right, we've got Pocahontas, we've got the Hunchback of Notre Dame. They were looking to history as kind of is this a good place to dabble? And history gets messy. It really does. So they had to Disneyfy a lot of this stuff. And so for me, that's why it gets diminished. But let's be honest, man, Monsters, Inc. is one of Pixar's greatest of all time. And in 2001, it was a game changer for that studio, and it was a game changer in our hearts. So Monsters, Inc. is going forward. All right.
That's why
I'm going to give you a glimpse into my brain. And I think about the social impact that Monsters, Inc. has, because now kids shouldn't be afraid of monsters in their closet, because you can use that story to say monsters aren't there to scare you anymore. I think that's serious social collateral.
I like that, man. Wow. That's a game changer.
But Mark, I'll also say this about them figuring out, that's why we're not going to get a Pocahontas live action remake.
No, listen, that whole thing is problematic. Yeah. I mean, it's just problematic. It's not a time period or an era of American history that you want to romanticize. At all. Like it's not a really good period of U.S. history or foreign relations for that matter. So like, again, there's a whole podcast in there somewhere, man.
Yeah.
But we can't do that right now. All right. But we're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Disney 100, the tournament, in just a second. Hey guys, Dislife Mark here, and I want to tell you all about the official travel partner here at Chip & Company. Let our good friend Sarah at Destination to Travel help you plan your next Disney vacation. Sarah specializes in planning dream vacations for your family. She's an authorized Disney vacation planner, and she can help with every step of your magical vacation. The best thing is that her services are 100% free. Want to travel beyond Disney? Sarah has you covered there too. Want to find out more? Fill out a trip request form over at the website at Chip & Co. or email her directly at sarahsolberg@d2travel.com. Start planning that dream vacation today. Email her at sarahsolberg@d2travel.com. All right, so Winnie the Pooh won his respective bracket. Will Piglet do the same? Well, we're going to find out right now, gentlemen, because it's Piglet's.
Probably not.
Yeah, Piglet's big movie. Well, maybe it'll win the round, because Piglet's big movie is going against Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. Brian Lee, I will give you, since you deferred, I'm going to give you the pole position again.
Oh, this is gross. I actually would vote for, if you told me I could only watch one, I'd vote for Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay.
And I don't know why I feel like that.
I feel like this is a real full circle moment.
You're making a face.
Yeah.
Like, why?
This is full circle for the three of us, because that was the first time I was on your podcast. You had me on to talk about, is this a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie? And I said Halloween.
Yeah.
I bet people get a chance to listen to that again relatively soon.
Yeah.
I like that. Mark, Piglet or Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas?
I don't know why, but I got triggered. I forgot how much I disliked the name of Piglet's movie. I don't know why it bothers me. I feel like it's such a lazy title. Nightmare Before Christmas.
I bet the guy that named it also named Toy Story Land.
It's like, wait a minute, guys, I've got it. We're going to call it Toy Story Land. It's brilliant. Brilliant. The marketing.
Is that your Regis Philbin right
Spot on. Yeah, right. Well, I feel like I need a tone on tone. Like I need a tie that matches my shirt almost identically. So you can't even tell I'm wearing a necktie. Yeah, I'm going to go with Tim Burton on this. It's just Tim Burton's movie is iconic. It's cult-like. It has created a subculture of Disney. There's not a lot in terms of like that animation style that, you know, puts Disney kind of on the map. Like this is, you know, this animation style, it's pretty remarkable and there's not a lot out there, but it does stand head and shoulders above all of the rest of that kind of work.
Haunted Mansion Holiday. That's why I voted for it. You nailed it.
Ooh, yeah. I like it. I like it.
No.
Gentlemen, we've got a Goofy movie from 1995 going against The Jungle Book 2. Yeah, that's right.
Way to leave us in suspense there.
Marky Mark, The Jungle Book 2 versus a Goofy movie. You're up first this time, brother.
I think we're all going to be seeing this eye to eye and voting for a Goofy movie.
Brian Lee, well said.
I vote for a Goofy movie over The Jungle Book, let alone The Jungle Book 2. So.
I would agree. Yes. Dude, I would agree with you. But listen, you know what I like about this round, guys? We listened to each other's hearts and we found that the answers weren't far apart. I think I just killed those lyrics, but you know what? We understand.
Lester's awesome part.
Yeah. All right. Lilo and Stitch from 2002, our oldest movie, or should we say our youngest movie, going against James and the Giant Peach, talking about that animation style from 1996. Brian Lee, you get to vote first.
I wanted to just bash Lilo and Stitch's head in, but there's nothing memorable about James and the Giant Peach. So I will give the nod to Lilo and Stitch for a soundtrack.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh, Hawaiian Roller Coaster.
Yeah. Marky Mark.
Lilo and Stitch for the soundtrack win. Lilo and Stitch, the live action remake, pictures freak me out. I'm going to actually go James and the Giant Peach for the storytelling and overall movie. So James for the win.
Okay.
Is Lilo and Stitch that far into production that there's like on-set photos?
Not on-set photos. It's production, like storyboard stuff.
Yeah, they just have some storyboarding up for it. That's about it.
Stitch looks scary, like the thing of nightmares.
Yeah, which is sad because so here's why I'm going to vote. And spoiler alert, I am going to vote for Lilo and Stitch. We had this discussion when we started this tournament of our favorite versus which one we believe to be the best. Now, Lilo and Stitch, I think, has really connected and resonated with more Disney fans than James and the Giant Peach did. Artistically, I don't think Lilo and Stitch was anything that remarkable, but for some reason or another, people really resonate with it. Like even that Ohana thing sticks around. Stitch has a cult-like following. Even though his movie is not the greatest in the history of Disney 100, like he's become somewhat of an icon and people
I don't get it.
But people really love this film. And so for that reason, you know, even if we don't understand it because it's not our favorite, this has had a really big mark on the Walt Disney Company and Walt Disney Animation. So Lilo and Stitch is going to win. It's going to win for me. But yeah. I also don't get it. I think Stitch is adorable, but then I go back and I watch Lilo and Stitch and I'm like, oh, this movie's not great. I will admit it's grown on me over time. At first, I did not appreciate it at all. So I'm entertained by it, but yeah. So Lilo and Stitch is going to move forward. James and the Giant Peach. I like it. It's just, you know, Lilo again, favorite versus, you know, the better of the two. To me, it's Lilo and Stitch. All right, guys, Tarzan from 1999 going against the Tigger movie. Tigger gets his own joint. And maybe this is just making a case for how important Winnie the Pooh is, because they've got spin-offs, a lot of them from Winnie the Pooh. Tarzan versus Tigger. I'm going to go first this time, guys. Tarzan gets me every time. Phil Collins did not need to or have to go as hard as he did on that soundtrack. And he was like, you know who's singing this? Phil Collins is singing this. But You'll Be in My Heart is a masterpiece, but it also, I turned into a puddle. I was holding my infant, my daughter, Bella. It was the first night that I was a dad. And it was the first song that came to my heart. And I sang it to her when she started to fuss in the first night. And that's my song, dudes. So I feel like if I vote against Tarzan, I would be voting against my whole universe. So Tarzan for the win. Brian Lee, you're up.
Tarzan.
Thank you, sir. You didn't make this too hard. Marky Mark?
Tarzan.
All right. Tarzan's going to go against the Lion King. I might abstain in the next round. I might just abstain.
I won't.
All right. I know you don't hold back, guys. We have a job to do. Emotions aside, we have a job to do today. All right. We are back up to the top of the bracket, and now it is The Little Mermaid going against Toy Story 2. Where do we start? Sorry, that was my fault. Brian Lee, go ahead.
Toy Story 2.
Marky Mark.
Toy Story 2.
Oh, yay.
Whoa. Wait, like, whoa. I'm going to vote. I'm going to vote for The Little Mermaid. It's not going to matter. The Little Mermaid.
My thing is the live action remake improved on so much that I didn't realize how much wasn't great about the animated until I saw the live action remake.
Oh, wow.
Is that a hot take? I don't know.
That's a hot take.
Yeah, that's a take.
The Little Mermaid was it for me though, guys. Like it was it. And like that was the
You wanted to be a part of her world, Mark?
No, I just realized I wanted to be a part of this world. Like
I try not to do this a lot, but think about this standpoint. There's 10 years in age difference between you and I. And there's 10 years difference between the release of The Little Mermaid and Toy Story 2. So we saw it at the exact same moment in our lives, and that's why you're voting one way and I'm voting the other.
Oh, I get it. Listen, no one's and I'm not even telling you. So
Brian's a philosophizer.
It's not mean. It's just
man.
Toy Story 2.
No, that was just deep. Yeah,
I love that movie so much.
Toy Story 2 hits you in the feels. And in some ways, I don't know if Marky Mark, is this a hot take? I think Toy Story 2 might be better than the third.
Y'all are, here's the thing. I'm not high on Toy Story 2. So that just kind of shows you where Little Mermaid is for me. I roll and skip every time the Tearjerker song comes on. When everybody loves me.
When somebody loved me, not everybody.
I'm sorry. Toy Story 2, there's really good elements to it, but it's.
I would entertain a discussion between Toy Story 2 being at least comparable to Toy Story 1. I do think it's better than Toy Story 2.
Wow.
No. Well, I would have it third in the series for me.
Man, I'm going to be all right. And again, I'm going to be the holdout here. I would have voted for The Little Mermaid. It doesn't matter. My vote does not matter. Toy Story 2.
See, Mark, you need to start voting earlier.
Going to advance. I don't think it would have made a difference because Brian said it very aptly.
I know, but then I could be the bad guy for you, so you don't feel like left out.
Could you do that in a Billie Eilish style the next time?
Oh, I have to whisper like, Mark, don't be the bad guy here. Yeah. I'll vote you out. Okay.
Duh.
What just happened?
I don't know. We just hijacked the Disney 100 bracket. All right. Yep. Back to the task at hand, gentlemen. Toy Story from 1995 going against Treasure Planet. This time I am going to vote first. I love Treasure Planet. I think it's criminally underrated, artistically underrated, but it cannot go against the film that really put Pixar on the map. I realize, it's not Toy Story. Toy Story was, not their greatest achievement, But are we having this conversation about Pixar if Toy Story didn't resonate the way that it did? It launched the studio, guys. It's Toy Story for me. Marky Mark, maybe you do care about Toy Story 1.
Yeah. Toy Story's got a friend in me in this battle, but like I said, I really do appreciate Treasure Planet.
We do. Lots of love. Brian Lee, is it a clean sweep for Toy Story? Are we going to put 1 against 2 in the next round? Oh, well, you already did, but is it going to be?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Math is not my strong. That's why I have this computer in front of me. It helps me tally. It's like 1 + 1 + 1 + 2 + 1. Any Clue fans out there?
Oh, I appreciated it. It wasn't a red herring on me.
Communism was just a red herring.
Oui, Mark.
Whoa, guys, where's the United We fan on Clue? Why haven't we had a Clue United We fan going board?
It doesn't have its full episode, but it is in our Bad Movie Jail episode.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I forgot it was in Bad Movie Jail.
We could do games turned into movies. We could talk about the Battleship movie.
Yeah, but there's a Clue. There's a musical. I mean, it's not off Broadway.
I love the musical.
Yep, there's a musical. Yep. There's obviously the board game. There's the man.
Brian, you would love the musical Clue.
Yeah, it has a following. There's a fandom out there for Clue.
And you never know. It changes on who does it every night.
Right?
Yeah, isn't it called Knives Out? Isn't that the fandom?
Oh my God.
That's all. I can't even.
Mark,
all right.
Please move on.
Well, listen, we're gonna have a whodunit on our hands with this next one because someone's gonna get blood on their hands because it's Aladdin against Hercules. How about that for a segue, gents?
Gross. Yeah. Already?
Yeah. So it's Aladdin 1992 versus Hercules. Brian Lee, I'm gonna give you the very fun position of being first here. That sigh said it all.
These are probably both on the Rushmore of this entire set of films for me. So Robin Williams is the tiebreaker. I go Aladdin.
Okay. Marky Mark.
Robin Williams deserved his honorary Oscar. The soundtrack deserved its awards. If you ask me which one is my favorite, Hercules. Go the Distance is my favorite Disney song.
Agreed.
But I know Aladdin has some issues, but I'm going to go Aladdin.
Okay. I'm going to listen, no controversy here. Aladdin is the better movie by the standard of which film had the greater impact on Disney animation, on the company, which one's got more staying power. Hercules is beloved. Marky Mark, you said it. Go the Distance is my absolute all-time favorite song. I cry every single time that is worked into the medley of Happily Ever After. That and You'll Be in My Heart are the two that turn me into an absolute puddle. But Aladdin, Robin Williams' portrayal as the genie, I mean, he's an icon, and he didn't need the genie to be an icon, but it stands the test of time, and it's one of Disney's finest moments. So Aladdin is going to take this. That was a little bit statistically easier, not easy because we're all crying on the inside because we all went from hero to zero with that vote. So it happened.
Like there's so many winners right now that I would vote for Hercules over right now. This hurts.
Did you mean to take us from hero to zero?
I did. I took us down. We went backwards. Yeah, we went backwards in the way that we feel about ourselves after having to vote against Hercules. But
I'm not going to give you two thumbs way up for that matchup, Mark.
Yes. Give me all the hate. You know who needs a spinoff? Hades. James Woods just needs his own freaking film. Just give I know that he makes appearances as it's not James Woods, right? It's just,
I don't think Disney would invite him back. We would probably find someone else.
Exactly. James Woods isn't exactly.
You've got James Woods. All right. We have The Emperor's New Groove going against Mulan from 1998, which got the bye in the first round. I'm gonna listen. We know how Brian's gonna vote, so I want Marky Mark to go first, and then I'm gonna leave you in suspense. Mulan and the Emperor's New Groove, Marky Mark, you start us off here.
I love both of these movies. I think Reflections it's a great song. The live action remake is probably the remake that broke my heart the most because I wanted it so bad for Mulan and it did not work for me.
I think it's the best one or one of them.
Man, Brian, I love you.
It's because they took the music out of it, Marky Mark. They took the music out of it and they made it straight. Even the storyline, and then they tried to make it too much of a. Anyways, I can go on a long rant about the problems with the Mulan, but movie wise, oh my god, not favorite, best.
Yep, best. Mulan.
Okay. Brian Lee.
My God, I want to punch myself in the face.
Emperor's New Groove was ahead of its time. It was today's comedy in 2000. That movie aged better than just about anything because it was absolutely ahead of its time. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Yep.
So if I have to consider this, I think Mulan, for its time period, Mulan was more in the line of the rest of the Disney Renaissance. And it was very much in the same vein of what Lion King was doing and Aladdin and The Little Mermaid. I viewed Mulan as being very, very well placed in the Disney Renaissance period. I don't think Mulan moved the needle for that reason, but we all consider it to be a masterpiece because it is. If it wasn't in the Renaissance, a lot of people would look at Mulan and say, man, this is one that Disney has, they just nailed it. Mulan's amazing. It's really good. Here's the thing about The Emperor's New Groove when it was made in 2000. It was not appreciated in its time period. It was way ahead of its time. It was so radically different from anything that Disney had done. The comedy in it, just the storyline, almost everything about that film was very misplaced for the era. But I think over time, if you ask me which two films, of these two films, which one has aged better and which one has started to mature and maybe become more of a part of the company, I'm actually going to surprise a lot of people, and I do think it is The Emperor's New Groove. I think The Emperor's New Groove is one of the most popular intellectual properties now because I think, Brian, you are, again, the perfect age demographic for this, right? It hit that generation. So millennials are thinking back on The Emperor's New Groove and how much they loved it. But let's face it, you guys are also revisiting it and the humor just slaps differently. And I'll tell you, when I go to a park, like if I go to a Halloween party or if you see people cosplay or even at like New York Comic-Con, there's not a whole lot of Mulan love. There is a giant representation of Yzma and Kronk and
especially at marathons.
Yep. And people love this movie. And I'm going to admit, I'm going to out myself a little bit. In 2000, I didn't get it. I did not get The Emperor's New Groove. And I watched it again. My daughter was 2 and 3 years old and we just started working through the catalog. And I went, oh my God, is this one of the best movies that Disney's ever done? And I had a complete and total paradigm shift when it came to The Emperor's New Groove because it stands out. It is not unlike anything else that Disney did, and it's great. So,
Mark, can I say 3 things?
Go ahead.
One, I don't know if I'm going to be any more thank you for having me lose on this one. Emperor's New Groove, number 2, is on my Rushmore of Disney animated movies. I laughed when I saw it the first time. I still laugh today. And then 3, I've always been someone who feels comedies are underappreciated, especially great comedies. And I think Emperor's New Groove is a great comedy. So thank you for voting for that.
I would have said in the past that it's criminally underrated, but it's not even underrated anymore. People are giving it the right amount of due. It's finally getting the right amount of due, and it's deserving. It's very deserving. It's a great film. So,
you know, when that movie started getting a better reputation, it kind of starts around the time United We Fans started. I think there might be a correlation.
We need to do a deep dive on that and see what the correlation is to United We Fan.
By all accounts, not bad.
You guys set the trend. You started the zeitgeist. Let's face it. It was you guys. All right. So Beauty and the Beast got a first round bye, and it's going against A Bug's Life. Listen, Beauty and the Beast. This isn't even close for me. I said in the first round, Bug's Life, I'm so unattached and unemotional. Beauty and the Beast is one of my absolute all-time favorites. So Beauty and the Beast gets my vote straight away. Marky Mark.
One of my favorites on my Rushmore. It was nominated for Best Picture when there was only 5 nominees for a reason. Beauty and the Beast.
Brian Lee.
Insert some pun about some bug getting squished by something bigger than it. I suppose by a beast. I suppose that would be the right
squish.
Yeah. No one squishes a bug like Gaston.
Cicero. Lip shits.
Oh, geez.
That was a Chicago reference, Brian. All right. Monsters Inc. He'll get there. Monsters Inc. from 2001 going against the cult classic Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. Brian Lee, you go first this time around, man. You vote.
Monsters Inc.
Marky Mark.
Monsters Inc. But cultural impact, man, that would be another discussion. But yeah, Monsters Inc.
I do think lest we forget, Monsters Inc. spawned a sequel. It has massive representation, and I kind of like what Brian said is just being like this real shift in the way that we just viewed the monsters under the bed. Like, that was huge. I didn't even consider that until you dropped that on me, man.
I've used it, man.
That was the laugh floor, underrated as well.
Whoa.
Right, Mark? Mark loves the laugh floor.
I can't get
that guy's buying us churros.
I can't do that. I can't join you on that. Listen.
I would gladly go see that over a certain carousel next door.
Wow.
Haunted Mansion's greater than the laugh floor. I'll give you that.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. All right, gents. Goofy movie from 1995 going against Lilo and Stitch. Marky Mark, I'll give you the first vote on this matchup. I think I know where this is going to go. I don't even think this is going to be close.
No, Goofy movie.
Brian Lee.
Perfect cast.
Goofy movie. You know what? I'm going to make it unanimous. This is another film that kind of, I don't think the Goofy movie was as appreciated in 1995 because it kind of stood out. Again, you had Lion King in 94. It was like smushed between Tarzan, smushed between, even Mulan in 1998. It was just a different style of film, so people didn't know how to take it, given all the other stuff in the Renaissance. But there's a lot of love for the Goofy movie. And I see that. When Powerline Max walks out onto Main Street, USA, people lose their dang mind.
Again, it was ahead of its time, man. It was like the boy band era before the boy band era.
I do just want to say this too, like for everyone that's crying right now and you're like very mad at the three of us, I do love the message of Lilo and Stitch. Like I love the concept of family found. I love Ohana. Like Ohana's our mantra here in this household. It really is. But I think that there's a lot of people out there that love Stitch and they hate Lilo and Stitch. Like, and I'm just going to say it, like people like me, I love Stitch. I just don't love that movie. I'm sorry. So Goofy movie is going to go forward. All right, gents. Tarzan, 1999 against The Lion King. I'm sorry for any trauma that I'm causing you. And there's going to be emotional damage from this matchup. Brian Lee, you're first.
Lion King.
Okay. Marky Mark.
I don't even have to think about it.
I'm sorry. I was shaking my head too much about the praise for Lilo and Stitch. What's the matchup?
Tarzan and The Lion King. Maybe this isn't as hard as I thought it was going to be.
We're talking about the first animated Lion King, right?
Yes.
Not the updated animated. Anyways,
got only animated films. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, we've only gotten only Anyways, thank you. Yes, the first animated Lion King movie.
Okay, and I'm going to make it a clean sweep. The Lion King was a game changer. I mean, I think I left I didn't leave the theater with Tarzan saying like, wow, I left the theater with Tarzan going, I'm going to go buy that soundtrack. But I also will tell you that Elton John, like he brought it. as well.
I was going to say Elton John greater than Phil Collins.
Oh, that's a great debate. I mean, yeah. Yeah.
You could even say it's a little bit funny.
It's a little bit funny.
Brian, good for you with that reference.
I know me some Elton John.
Okay, ready? Elton John or Billy Joel? Ready? Don't overthink it. I know Brian doesn't like Billy Joel. So Elton John.
I don't dislike Billy Joel. I just don't get the hype. Elton John for me.
Marky Mark, Elton John, Billy Joel.
Elton John. Also, shout out to Tim Rice, who helped Elton John on The Lion King.
Oh yeah, thank you, Tim Rice. I'm going to vote.
Joel. You know what? Tim Rice.
Yeah, I'm going to vote for Billy Joel here. Billy Joel.
Whatever.
He's my dude.
Let me be the music guy.
How many times have you seen Billy Joel at MSG, Mark?
3 times.
We should ask Piano Rob this.
Yeah. No, I've seen him 3 times. Once with Elton John and then 2 on his own. So I love him. Love it. Yeah. All right, gentlemen. This is it. Toy Story 2 from 1999 against Toy Story from 1995. Brian Lee, you're going to go first.
I said I could have a discussion on Toy Story 2 versus Toy Story. Storyline wise, I prefer Toy Story 2. I think I really like Newman. Toy Story 2 doesn't exist without Toy Story. I do think the video game intro to Toy Story 2 is probably the best intro Toy Story's ever done. The orphans and the train in Toy Story 3 is also really good. This is my roundabout way of getting to it. Toy Story 1.
Marky Mark.
I don't know how you pick. Like they're both.
Yeah, best versus favorite. That's the only way I can justify this, man. That's
because my favorite is Toy Story 1. Just there are so many great scenes in Toy Story 2. But Toy Story 1, oh man. I'm going to go Toy Story 1.
I have to go. My favorite is Toy Story 2. I think it might be one, for argument's sake, it might be technically one of the best of all 3 in terms of the storytelling. But this is a chicken and an egg argument for me. I just don't think you have a Toy Story 2 if one didn't create. It was world building on a scale that we had never seen. And let's face it, like Pixar has kind of hung their hat on this. Like I feel like creatives at Pixar sit around and they're like, hey, what inanimate object or thing or concept haven't we connected with and given it human qualities and world built around? You know, like we have emotions, we have toys. I mean, I feel like we have elements. I feel like they have kind of hung their hat on bringing things to life, you know, from Luxo onward. Toy Story is the genesis of all of that. And does Toy Story 2 do some things better? Absolutely. Does it flush out the cast and add some new characters to the room? Absolutely. But we're not even having that discussion if Toy Story was not Toy Story. So it's a clean sweep. 1995's Toy Story for me, guys.
And I will never, ever accept that Zurg is not Buzz's father and that he's Buzz from a different...
It's canon.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's canon.
Breaking news. Billy Joel gets the vote from Piano Rob. However, Elton John is flat out the better piano player, according to Piano Rob.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Who am I to argue with the pianist? So, I mean, he plays both of these the catalogs. So, I mean, he knows.
Yep. And then going back to Toy Story, I think watching it as a kid and watching it as an older adult, like kind of dealing with aging and fading out and stuff like that, just Toy Story hits you differently as you get older.
Yeah, all 3 of these films hit me very differently when I watch them now versus when I watched them, 10 years ago versus when I watched them 20 years ago. They really, each period of my life, I see different stories. I see different things. I make different connections. And that's why I like to come back to a lot of these movies and rewatch them. I mean, like, for me, rewatching The Little Mermaid, I would have never have thought that, like, when King Triton says goodbye to Ariel at the end would have been the thing. Like, that didn't get me when I was a kid. Now, devastates me. I'm crushed. So Wreck-It Ralph is going to do really well for me later on. I'm just going to say. I'm just going to, little spoiler alert for next episode. Gentlemen, Aladdin, 1992, going against The Emperor's New Groove. Brian, you go first because you're, I don't want to say a ringer, but you've kind of told us where you stand with this one.
Aladdin had two really, like Hercules and then Emperor's New Groove. Like, this is just not fair to Aladdin. It got beat up too much in the previous round. Emperor's New Groove, I got to put my money where my mouth is.
Okay. Marky Mark. You take it out of my hands.
This is really weird because I know I voted for Mulan, even though I love Emperor's New Groove. And now I'm about to vote for Emperor's New Groove. So am I saying Mulan is better than I think Aladdin is? No. Okay. I'm going to get too deep. All right. Emperor's New Groove.
Wow. All right. I would have voted for Aladdin here. I think Aladdin is the Disney zeitgeist, gents. I mean, I think when Aladdin hit by 1992, that really was what set up the studio for the success of The Lion King.
I'm very bad at differentiating best versus favorite. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
So if I need the waters, I apologize.
I just look at this.
Welcome to my life as a co-host.
No, but what movie would I watch more frequently? The animated Aladdin or The Emperor's New Groove? If I'm being honest, it's going to be The Emperor's New Groove. I want to watch that all the time. But looking at that in perspective, is The Emperor's New Groove connecting with people nowadays? Yes. But looking at the historical run of both of these films, Aladdin has never waned in love and support and adulation. And if nothing else, it just gets stronger with time. The Once Upon a Studio that just came out, I think just renewed our love affair with the genie again when the estate of Robin Williams gave Disney the okay to go and find archival voice footage of Robin Williams to use for that short. We love that character. Mark, you said this, and I think you're kind of right. Is it perfect? No, there's been a lot of things that they had to address in the live action that they did have to revisit. I don't want to say anachronisms, but cultural insensitivities of the animated that, the live action tried to make good on them. So it's definitely not a perfect film, but Aladdin has been it's a tentpole film for the studio. So I would have voted for Aladdin. Doesn't matter. Emperor's New Groove is going to go forward, and it's going to take on Toy Story in the semifinal round. All right, gents, Beauty and the Beast against Monsters, Inc. from 2001. You know what? I went, my vote didn't count last round, so I want this one to count. Beauty and the Beast, I think, it's a masterpiece. I'm one of the outliers that actually think that the live action remake was incredible. The voices were not, and it didn't matter because I was still listening to the soundtrack if I listen to soundtracks, I'm going to listen to the original. I think Beauty and the Beast is, again, I think it's masterful storytelling. It became one of my favorite Broadway productions of all time. Back when Broadway was opening up to me, The Who's Tommy was my first ever Broadway show, and Beauty and the Beast soon after was my second. And Beauty and the Beast reminded me of why I was a Disney guy, and I was a Disney teenager and then a Disney adult. I love the story. I love the music. I love the heart. I love the imagination of it. If you get into the deep dive on this one, it becomes a little problematic, wondering like what was a person and what was just a piece of furniture. Let's hope the toilets were all original to the chateau. Oh my God. Yeah, but Beauty and the Beast, guys. So for me, Beauty and the Beast. Brian Lee.
Beauty and the Beast.
Marky Mark.
Oh my God, I'm still mind blown on that little story. Side note, when it comes to like favorites and bests, I give these two examples usually to people. Last year's Oscars, The Fabelmans.
Yes.
That was a favorite of mine. I love Spielberg. I love the story of a young filmmaker. I related a lot to it. But Everything Everywhere All at Once was the better movie. If we want to go with, Marvel, Disney.
Yeah.
WandaVision is the better series, but I've watched Miss Marvel way more and I enjoy it more. But WandaVision is a better show.
Yeah.
So kind of That's how I can easily differentiate. But anyways, Beauty and the Beast.
You know why I can't easily differentiate? Because I prefer WandaVision and Everything Everywhere All at Once in both of those examples.
And that's fine. That's great. Okay, well, all right.
Well,
we don't need to beat the dead horse.
No.
It was just funny.
It's convenient when favorite and best live in the same spot. For me, that's where Beauty and the Beast comes in. It's a perfect marriage of my favorite in this matchup versus.
Wait! I got one. Brian, 1997, 2 hit films, Titanic and Hercules, came out. Okay, both had 2 great songs nominated for best song, and Titanic ended up walking away with it. Titanic won Best Picture. It is the best film. Brian, which one of those 2 is your favorite, Hercules or Titanic?
Titanic. I was obsessed with Titanic.
I was obsessed with it too. Yeah, I was obsessed. I saw it 7 times.
I've told you about the poster I made for my Disney Adventures.
Brian, I didn't realize. I thought this was going to be an easy example, but Jesus.
Differentiating mind is just so critically advanced.
I didn't realize you were going to have Titanic as your favorite as well. Okay, I'll figure out a new example.
That came from Titanic, and we'll just leave it at that.
I saw Titanic 7 times in theaters. 7 times.
I think I did too, or close to it. My parents. Yeah, no, I was obsessed. Let's move on. Monsters Inc. or Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast won. It was a landslide. Yeah. All right, Goofy Movie and The Lion King. This is hard. Brian Lee, go ahead. You go first, or do you want to defer? You want to kick it to Mark first?
Okay. So Mark, this is the prime example of best versus favorite. Probably because I do think Lion King is the better film.
Yeah,
but I would choose a Goofy Movie in this matchup.
Wow. Okay. Marky Mark.
I think Lion King is overplayed, oversaturated, but the reason is because it's the better movie of the 2.
It's the better movie. The Lion King was an achievement. There's a lot of people that rage and they're like, dude, it's Hamlet in the Animal Kingdom. Yeah, it is. It is.
But which one am I watching though? Goofy Movie.
Which one am I enjoying more often than not? It's the Goofy Movie because it's like
now I don't know how to vote. Like who voted for what just now?
So I think my understanding.
I voted for the Lion King.
The Lion King, yeah. My understanding was the Lion King got all 3 votes, and I'm going to vote for the Lion King anyway. So Brian, it doesn't matter for you if you're waffling or you want to change your vote. The Lion King is going to take my vote as well, and it's the Lion King is going to move forward, but. Do you want to cast an emotional vote for the 3 of us for the?
I thought that's what I did. Oh, okay. Like honestly, I confused myself. I love a Goofy Movie so much, but cinematically and company wise, like Lion King wins better film. That's true.
That's definite. Okay, gentlemen, we will be right back in just a minute to complete this tournament. The semifinals are coming up right after this quick commercial break. Is Disney World home to you? Realtor Victor Naraki can help make it a reality. Realtor Victor Naraki specializes in making your Disney home dreams come true. Second homes, investment homes, retirement, relocation. With Victor's input, he will show you the home opportunities that you don't get to see as a tourist. Imagine being at the park in minutes, walking around the World Showcase for daily exercise, watching the fireworks in your own backyard, or having Disney Springs as your local mall. Have you ever heard of Windermere, Winter Garden, Horizon West, Dr. Phillips, Claremont, Lake Nona, or Disney's own Celebration and Golden Oak? Victor will introduce you to these communities, which are just minutes to the magic. Stop imagining a Disney life and start living your dream today. Call Victor at 407-340-9375. And don't forget to mention that you heard all about Victor here on the Chip and Company Podcast Network. Head over to celebratingflorida.com and start living your magical life today. All right, we're going to jump up to the semifinal round. We only have 4 films that remain, and only one can win this. This is one of the hardest brackets that I think we'll ever do. Toy Story in 1995 against The Emperor's New Groove in 2000. Mark, you go first, my friend.
Favorite, Emperor's New Groove. Better, Toy Story.
Brian Lee.
This is why I hate. This is why I like doing favorite. It's way more fun. It's way more fun to do favorite versus best.
I asked Mark before we started this, which one am I doing? So Mark's the bad guy.
In my opinion, there's very few things that I can actually like differentiate between best versus favorite. But when you talk about what Toy Story means to the grander landscape of the company, in my opinion, outside, maybe not even outside of The Little Mermaid, I genuinely believe Toy Story to be one of probably the second most important film to this company behind Snow White.
Okay.
Ooh.
So I would say Toy Story.
I'm gonna do a clean sweep. I love The Emperor's New Groove. I rediscovered it. It has become one of my favorite movies now. But it's just not. It's a non-starter. Like The Emperor's New Groove is catching on, but Toy Story has always been, and it's so important to the company. It's so important to Pixar, and it's why it's going to be in our final. All right, Beauty and the Beast against The Lion King in 1994. I'm going to give you guys a chance to talk this over, and I'm going to put both of these films artistically. I'm going to put them on an equal footing, and I really am. And that's how much I think of Beauty and the Beast. I think in terms of the artistic achievement and what each one of these films did in its respective year for cinema, I'm not going to give one or the other the edge. Which one would I watch or would I prefer to watch? That one's going to be Beauty and the Beast. I do love me some Lion King. I've seen The Lion King on Broadway now twice. I saw Beauty and the Beast on Broadway. I think both of these films connect with different audiences. I think they're apples and oranges. But what movie do I think is more important to this company? And I do believe that it is The Lion King. I do think that The Lion King just connects with audiences worldwide on a different level than Beauty and the Beast.
Really? I was going to say cultural impact. I thought Beauty and the Beast had the bigger cultural impact.
No, I do think in Asia, yes, Beauty and the Beast it's massive. But I think if you take the entire, like every single one of these continents into sort of consideration, I do think that The Lion King worldwide resonates with a grander audience. And I don't know if that's because it is very reductive of Hamlet. I don't know if it's the tropes in the movie that just resonate in terms of the storytelling. But I do think that The Lion King is very important to this company. And I also think from a diversity standpoint, I do want to put that out there. I do think that The Lion King is a really important step for the diversification of Disney as a global brand and telling stories from not just that European hearth, but also from, the subcontinent of Africa and connecting with, again, I think of a different brand. So I'm going to vote for The Lion King as being best. But I mean, on a Tuesday afternoon, I could probably be swayed in the other way. So I don't love the vote. I could probably be talked off of it, but I'm going to make the tough decision and rip the Band-Aid off, guys. And I'm just going to start us on The Lion King, 1994. Marky Mark, you have the unfortunate position of following me and having to vote in this spot that, I don't envy you.
Culture impact is definitely Lion King. The show at the Animal Kingdom has been playing forever. It's the highest rated show on Disney property. People love it. Broadway, it's going to replace Phantom of the Opera yes, Brian.
Hasn't Beauty and the Beast live on stage been playing longer than Festival of the Lion King at Animal Kingdom?
Yeah, but I said rating. Lion King's the highest rated show on property. And I agree with you. Beauty and the Beast was supposed to be temporary, and it's still there. So good on them.
Mark doesn't Festival of the Lion King either.
Well, that's also because I've seen the full theatrical stage version on Broadway twice. Yeah. It's hard for me it's not a bad show. It's just hard for me to watch the reductive version of it. That's it. That's
okay.
It.
I'll admit the first times I saw Festival of Lion King, I fell asleep in it. Lion King, I think, is going to replace Phantom of the Opera for longest running show on Broadway. Mark, it's the highest grossing show on Broadway, right?
Of all time, I'd have to do a fact check. If it's not number one, it's number two.
Okay.
It's not slowing down. Just as an FYI, like they still play it to 99 to 100% capacity of every week. So,
and it's not like they lowered prices to do that. They're still charging a lot.
They're still charging a tremendous amount.
Lion King is number 1 at $1.8 billion.
Thank you. Who's number 2? Does it say?
Bear with me.
Okay. Guy in the chair. So anyways, Lion King, biggest impact, biggest moneymaker for Disney, then Beauty and the Beast. But, and I think soundtrack wise, it just explodes so much. But overall story, I'm going to go Beauty and the Beast for a better film.
Okay.
From 10 to 1, Les Mis, 9, Jersey Boys, 8, Aladdin, 7, Mamma Mia, 6, Chicago, 5, The Book of Mormon, 4, Hamilton, 3, Phantom of the Opera, 2, Wicked.
That makes a lot of sense.
People love Wicked. Hamilton's going to move up. Hamilton's definitely going to move up.
Could we all admire for one second that we just got a top 10 Broadway all time from the mouth of Brian Lee? Did that
my job is to look up stats and facts. Hamilton has only performed 2,773 shows to Lion King's 10,166.
Mark, let me whisper in your ear. If we don't mention it, he doesn't realize how much we're in his head with it. We just got to
stats, facts, fellas.
All right, Brian, get back in the game because we need you to break the tie here. We have 1 vote for Beauty and the Beast, 1 vote for The Lion King. For all the marbles, man, best film. Who gets your vote?
My problem is when I'm looking up stats and facts, I apparently missed something. I did not know Marky Mark voted for Beauty and the Beast.
Sorry. I said Lion King had the bigger impact and bigger soundtrack, but Beauty and the Beast for overall storytelling. Yeah.
My vote's Beauty and the Beast as well.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Man, United with fans going to lose Disney fans and audience listeners.
Wow. We're not going to lose Disney fans because we voted for Beauty and the Beast.
Wow. Amazing. Listen, I don't care. I love it.
We also eliminated The Little Mermaid like 48 hours.
You and I just destroyed it very quickly.
So spicy. All right, gentlemen, this is it. This is the finals for the Disney Renaissance bracket. Toy Story in 1995 going up against Beauty and the Beast. Marky Mark, you're going to go first.
Why am I going first?
Right.
I feel like one of you has a strong opinion.
I'm happy to go first.
Okay, yeah. Ryan Lee.
I called it the second most important film in the history of the company. Toy Story gets my vote.
Okay. Marky Mark, go ahead.
See, Brian, when you were saying that, I started thinking, I'm like, what is the Rushmore of important films in Disney history? Snow White, obviously. Toy Story, yeah. Beauty and the Beast, because it showed animated movies could be more than just animated movies. They could be weighted movies. So I was like, damn.
Don't you think Little Mermaid did that before Beauty and the Beast, though? Even though Beauty and the Beast, with the lessons we got from
Little Mermaid is a clear, like, Disney movie. Beauty and the Beast showed that it can be more than a Disney movie. Quote Guillermo del Toro, animated movies are not just a genre. They're movies. They're actual movies. So I don't know. Like, that was a probably horrible quote, but
was that a direct quote or?
No, I'm paraphrasing. I don't want to get in trouble. I'm paraphrasing. Man, Mark. Mark, do you feel passionate about one of these two?
I do.
You're going to go Toy Story. I can feel it.
Well, my favorite is Beauty and the Beast. It really is my favorite. If I had to vote on favorite, I would be voting very differently. I think Beauty and the Beast is one of my all-time favorites. Like, there's 2 films that just hit me right in the feels back to back, and it was The Little Mermaid, and then like Beauty and the Beast was the uppercut that just knocked me over and knocked me down. But I think Toy Story kind of saved the company after a few missteps later on. And I think Toy Story was the film that propelled Disney animation into the future. And I don't know how much we're talking about the studio, and I don't know if we're talking about it in the same light if it wasn't for a film like Toy Story that's going to launch the host of other Pixar films that we're going to be talking about in next week. Toy Story to the company, to the brand, to animation, it's really important. Beauty and the Beast is a freaking masterpiece. It really is. But I do think that in terms of importance and being the best film, both technically and in storytelling and in technology, Beauty and the Beast started to incorporate some of that computer animated stuff. I mean, you see it in the dance and the ballroom sequence, but Toy Story was doing it then on a whole nother level that completely and totally revolutionized animation for, the next 3 decades, my man. I mean, so Beauty and the Beast is my favorite, but I will be voting for Toy Story. So I'm sorry. I'm taking it out of your hands. Don't feel bad.
No. You're good. I realized Beauty and the Beast was a game changer, but Toy Story changed how they do animated movies from then on. So Toy Story.
And Toy Story continues to change lives. Like, I don't want to say like it's also a period piece. You still, to this day, when you go to parks, the love of Toy Story is like unlike anything else that you've seen. Like, everyone loves this movie. And it's adding generations of people that are attached to it. I would like to revisit this bracket like 3 decades from now and like revisit this and see, does Toy Story still have that, or has the technology aged so much that it's kind of like, oh, but right now in, 2023, Toy Story is going to emerge victorious. That's it. We have declared a winner. Do we feel good about this, guys? How do we feel? I felt good about Winnie the Pooh. Like, I felt clean.
I went back and rewatched Winnie the Pooh after we voted just to make sure I didn't make a mistake, and I'm good with Winnie the Pooh.
We didn't make a mistake. I'll tell you right now. I did the same thing. We did not make a mistake. Did not.
We didn't make a mistake with Toy Story either.
No.
With that winner.
Yep. Well, I'm not mad at either of you after this episode.
No, and here's the thing, though. There are going to be a lot of people that are out there that I'm sure are going to be upset. And that's because we all have favorites and we all have front runners. I can tell you this. If we were basing this on favorite, I don't think that Toy Story would be there. But I'm also trying to check my rampant love and affinity for some of these films and trying to like be as objective as I can. But if you're mad, don't send these guys the hate. I'll take all the smoke at Dislife Podcast on Instagram. Follow them at United We Fan on Instagram. Guys, what do we have? Since we know where you are, you're here with us every Saturday. We said that. Give us a trailer. What's coming up in the next few weeks or months? What interests the gents from United We Fan? What is on the horizon of your Disney 100?
I mean, I know a Titanic episode is somewhere out there. After discovering the love. And then, of course, a board game episode. That sounds like that's on the horizon. But we got some fun things we're cooking up. It is busy times right now, but Brian and I have so much we want to talk about. So stay with us. Definitely check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and we're even on X Twitter. So check us out there. We like to give teases and hints on there, but we're cooking up something.
And for the newbies too, they're also over on Threads, so you can follow them there too. If you've migrated from X Twitter,
we are.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I represent the show on there since I have not figured out how to create a United We Fan. I represent the show and I share some love on there.
He speaks for the brand and the company.
Yes.
on that one.
I make sure to say how great the episode is, how adorable Brian is, and just how much fun the show is.
Well, listen, this show was absolutely adorable. And don't fear, we have 2 parts of this bracket left. Whenever we can get a hold of these guys, it's going to be a good Sunday. I want to thank once again Mark and Brian from United We Fan, the podcast, for joining us. It is my favorite podcast. If you don't follow them on socials or if you don't download their episodes, make sure you're doing that because it's a great way to get caught up with all entertainment news and just every single fandom that's out there. Gentlemen, thank you so much for living your best Disney life. And thank you, audience, for living your best Disney life with the 3 of us here today. We hope you have an incredible week, and we hope that it's filled with faith, trust, and pixie dust. Bye, guys. See you soon.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Dislife Podcast is brought to you by the Happiness is Addictive collection. Happiness is Addictive is passionate about spreading laughter and creating smiles worldwide. They love bringing their global community together through optimism, cheer, hopefulness, merriment, and celebrating life's magical moments. They know how important it is to celebrate life's adventures, and their apparel will give you everlasting, one-of-a-kind memories through pixie-dusted family photos, compliments from park guests, and magical moments with cast members. They pride themselves on high-quality, custom-made apparel at competitive prices with world-class service. Let them help you create a lifetime of memories, whether you're Disney bounding, kicking it poolside, participating in Run Disney marathons, having costumed adventures, or just living your best Disney life. You can find their Happiness is Addictive shop on Etsy. You can also find them on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and Pinterest. They are proud to be featured in Indy Central Florida, the Thoughtful Gift Club, and now here on Dislife Podcast. Their collection was founded by a 15-year former cast member who knows how to enhance your magical moments for a lifetime of memories with your family. Don't forget to use promo code DISLIFE15 to take an extra 15% off. What are you waiting for? Head over to Etsy and start getting happy today. Follow the link in our show notes and you'll find out for yourself that happiness is addictive.